It was a single piece of jewelry. 3 strands of pearls, delicate, understated, easy to miss if you weren't looking closely. But those who knew, and they always know, stopped breathing for just a moment. Because those pearls didn't just come from a jewelry box. They came from a woman who changed the monarchy forever. A woman who wore them on the other side of the world. In a dress that became iconic, at a moment when she was already becoming a legend. Princess Diana's pearls were at a royal wedding this weekend, fastened around the wrist of the woman her son chose to love. And in that small, silent gesture, Catherine said everything words never could. My name is Charles, and this is Royal Insider Live, your front row seat to everything happening inside the British royal family. Let's get into it. Before we get into the jewelry, and we will get into every detail, let's set the scene properly, because this wasn't just any royal gathering. On June 6th, Peter Phillips, Princess Anne's son, and Queen Elizabeth II's eldest grandchild, married Harriet Sperling in what became the most talked-about royal celebration of the summer. Now, for those less familiar with Peter Phillips, here's what you need to know. He is arguably the most quietly remarkable member of the entire royal family. Born the grandson of a queen, he made the deliberate choice, supported by his mother, Princess Anne, to live without a royal title, without public funding, and without the apparatus of palace life. No HRH, no staff, no official engagements, just a man building a private life in the long shadow of an extraordinary family. After his first marriage to Autumn, Kelly ended in 2020, Peter navigated single parenthood with 2 daughters, Savannah and Isla, with considerable grace and very little drama, in a family not always known for either. That quietly earned him enormous respect. His remarriage to Harriet Sperling was, by all accounts, a day of genuine joy. Intimate, warm, real. And the royal family showed up, not out of duty, but out of love. Now, to the moment, the fashion world, the royal watchers, and frankly the entire internet has been dissecting since the photographs emerged. Princess Catherine arrived at Peter Phillips' wedding and delivered what can only be described as a masterclass in wedding guest dressing. The dress was a Roland Mouret, Boule design, tonal, elegant, and impeccably structured. Roland Mouret is a French-British designer known for precision tailoring and timeless silhouettes. The choice was characteristically Catherine. Nothing showy, nothing that risks overshadowing the bride, but nothing that fails to command attention either. The hat was by Jane Taylor, London, a milliner, who has become one of Catherine's most trusted collaborators for formal occasions. Structured, refined, perfectly proportioned, she carried a woven clutch by Forever. New and completed the look with Rupert Sanderson heels, a brand she has returned to repeatedly over the years. Every element of the outfit was considered, every choice deliberate. But it was what she wore on her wrist that told the deepest story. Let's talk about those pearls. The bracelet Catherine wore to Peter Phillips' wedding is a 3-strand pearl piece designed by jeweler Nigel Milne and his wife Cherry. It is an heirloom, and its provenance is as significant as its beauty. Princess Diana wore this exact bracelet during a royal tour of Hong Kong in 1989. If you know your Diana history, that tour is already lodged in your memory. It was one of her most photographed international engagements. A woman at the absolute peak of her global influence, radiating a kind of warmth and charisma that no protocol could contain. On that tour, Diana paired the pearl bracelet with what became one of her most iconic outfits, the so-called Elvis dress and matching jacket, by her favorite designer, Catherine Walker. White, structured, unmistakable. The combination of the bracelet and that dress became one of the defining images of Diana's style. Legacy. After Diana's death in August 1997, her personal jewelry was divided between her 2 sons, William and Harry. To be passed on at their discretion, William kept this bracelet, and at some point, quietly, privately, with no announcement and no fanfare, he gave it to Catherine. That transfer of an object is also a transfer of meaning, of memory, of love across time, and every time Catherine wears it, she carries Diana with her. The bracelet wasn't the only jewelry piece drawing attention at the wedding. Catherine also wore a pair of earrings by Kiki McDonough, a designer with deep roots in the royal jewelry world and a particular significance to Catherine personally. Kiki McDonough has been one of Catherine's most frequently returned to jewelry designers throughout her royal life. The brand specializes in colored gemstone pieces with a romantic, feminine sensibility, exactly the kind of quiet luxury that defines Catherine's personal style. The specific earrings Catherine chose for this occasion carry what those close to the story describe as a romantic backstory. understated pieces, with personal meaning behind the selection, chosen deliberately for a celebration of love and family. It is worth noting that Catherine's jewelry choices are never accidental. Every piece she selects for a public appearance has been considered for its aesthetic, its message, and increasingly, its connection to the people and moments she most wants to honor. On this occasion, the combination of Diana's pearls and her own carefully chosen earrings created a look that was simultaneously personal and public, private meaning on full display. That tension between the intimate and the ceremonial is something Catherine navigates better than anyone in the royal family today. Let's step back for a moment, because there is a bigger story running underneath all of this. Princess Diana died in 1997. Catherine was 16 years old. She did not grow up in Diana's orbit. She did not know her. She came into the royal family a decade after Diana left it. And yet, the connection between these two women has become one of the defining narratives of the modern monarchy. Part of it is William. He loved his mother with an intensity that has never left him. And the women and causes he has chosen in his adult life reflect her influence at every turn. Giving Catherine Diana's jewelry is not a small gesture. It is an act of profound trust and love, an invitation to carry forward something irreplaceable. Part of it is Catherine herself. She has worn Diana's pieces with extraordinary sensitivity, never exploiting the association, never leaning into it for headlines, but honoring it in quiet, considered moments that feel genuinely personal rather than strategic. The Hong Kong pearl bracelet has now appeared at a Buckingham Palace garden party and a royal wedding, both occasions where family and warmth were the dominant notes of the day. That is not coincidence. That is curation, and it speaks to a depth of emotional intelligence that the public increasingly recognizes and responds to. Diana's legacy lives in many places. In the charities William and Harry both support. In the candor that occasionally breaks through royal protocol. In the global affection for a family that can feel very distant, but in the most literal sense. On Saturday, at Peter Phillips' wedding, it lived on Catherine's wrist. There is something else worth observing about this wedding appearance. Something beyond the fashion and the jewelry. Catherine looked happy. And after everything, the past 18 months have brought the surgery, the cancer diagnosis, the chemotherapy, the slow and careful return to public life. That happiness reads as something close to triumphant. She was surrounded by family, by people who know her, not as a princess of Wales, but as William's wife, George and Charlotte and Louis' mother, a woman who has faced something terrifying and come through it. The relaxed warmth she projected throughout the day, noted by everyone present, is the clearest signal yet that Catherine's recovery is not just physical, it is whole. And for a royal family that has spent years buffeted by crisis, departure, and controversy, that wholeness matters. Catherine is increasingly the emotional anchor of this institution, not through titles or protocol, but through the quality of her presence. The sense that she is genuinely, deeply invested in the people and the purpose around her. At Peter Phillips' wedding, that quality was on full display. We keep coming back to those pearls, and there's a reason for that. In the language of jewelry, pearls carry specific weight. They are formed through pressure and time. They emerge from something hidden, something private, into extraordinary beauty. It is difficult not to read that symbolism into Catherine's choice to wear Diana's bracelet at this particular moment in her life. She has just passed through the most privately difficult period of her public existence. A health crisis that stripped away everything ceremonial and left only the human, and she has emerged, like those pearls, refined by the experience rather than diminished by it. Diana wore those pearls at a moment of peak visibility. The Hong Kong tour of 1989, when she was the most photographed woman on the planet. Catherine wore them at a moment of quiet joy. A family wedding, a summer afternoon, surrounded by the people she loves. Same pearls, different woman, different moment, but the same thread of meaning running through both. That thread is continuity. The idea that the values Diana stood for, warmth, humanity, genuine connection, did not die with her. They found a new home. And on the wrist of the woman who will one day be queen, they are being carried forward. A pearl bracelet, 3 strands, worn once in Hong Kong in 1989 by a princess who changed everything. Worn again on a summer Saturday in 2025 by the woman her son chose. The woman who will carry his name, his family, and his mother's memory into the future of the British monarchy. These are the moments that remind us why the royal family still matters to so many people around the world. Not the state visits or the protocol. Not the titles or the palaces. But the human stories. The love that passes from one generation to the next. The quiet gestures that say more than any speech ever could. Catherine wore Diana's pearls to a wedding. And in doing so, she reminded the world that some things, the most important things, are never really lost. I'm Charles, and this has been Royal Insider Live. If this story moved you the way it moved us, hit subscribe and join the community. We're here every single day covering the stories that matter inside the British royal family. Drop a comment below. What does it mean to you that William gave Catherine Diana's jewelry? We read every single response.